Hi and welcome to Bob Harper Jukebox Restorations Workbench, and on the workbench today we've got a Wurlitzer amplifier. This is a 530 model. Had this sent in for repair. It was dead really, but that's because someone, a previous engineer who had just worked on this amp, had replaced his transformer which burnt out. Unfortunately it didn't connect the heater windings correctly, so none of the valves had their heater supply. So I sorted that out and got the heaters of all the valves working. Then I've gone through the amp and done other repairs as needed. It needed a fair bit of work actually. This board here had partially been recapped by somebody else, but I've completed the job and replaced the PECs, those two there that always need replacing, which hadn't been done. Quite a few resistors on there were out of tolerance, which I've replaced. The AVC was not working at all on this jukebox, done deliberately actually. So this valve here was essentially doing nothing. So I've reconnected all the AVC up, so that should work. Well, it does work how it should now. So what we'll do, we'll demonstrate it here now. And at the moment I've got a bass tone going through the amplifier. If I turn the volume up, you should hear it. Now I will demonstrate the AVC. The trouble is with these phones, they've got AVC built into them, so it might compensate. But as you can see, got the AVC contacts closed now, which would normally be done obviously by the mechanism. And if I release them, you should hear the volume come up. Now in the workshop, yeah, it's quite loud now. But as I say, the phone may not pick that up. I'll turn this down actually. So with the bass note going, I can demonstrate the bass control. That's minus. And that's shaking my workshop. And if I change the frequency to a higher frequency, you should be able to hear that. And this is the treble control. That's a lot more range there now than what there was. Trying to switch that off. Horrible. What I'll do now, I'll connect my iPod to the amplifier and we can have a listen to some music through it. Okay, unpause the video, got my iPod plugged in. This is obviously plugged into the first stage after the oscillator valve, because obviously these are designed for Cobra cartridges and you can't put an input directly into them. So I just got a clip lead here on the that capacitor end there that's feeding the signal from this way forward. It's not included in the oscillator valve. In the moment we'll plug in an old Cobra cartridge just to show that the Cobra system is working. But anyway, let's put this on. Okay, so that's enough of that. And what I'll do now, I'll pause the video and we'll plug in a Cobra cartridge. Okay, so you can see plugged into the input now. I've got this old Cobra cartridge that I just use for making sure the amplifier is working. The amplifier with the Cobra oscillator setup either works or it don't. The rest of the amplifier determines really the sound quality. This little system at the front, it either works or it don't, and obviously it is. So give it a bit of volume. That's full volume on the amplifier, so really quiet actually, no hum or nothing on it. There's obviously hiss because of all this system and the exposed PCB board without the cover on, and the treble is on maximum. If I turn that back a bit. Anyway, if I touch the stylus, turn that bass down, otherwise I'm going to blow my speaker up. That's plenty of volume, and just you'll probably hear it just if I touch the lead. So yeah, plenty of gain there. So the amp's all done. I left them on test actually yesterday for a couple of hours to make sure everything's okay. And what we'll do now, we'll flip the amp over and have a look, see what I've done on the bottom. Oh, just before I go, this resistor also was open circuit. Someone replaced half the section underneath the chassis, which is fine. Unfortunately, the other half was completely ignored and not connected. So what I've done now, I've put a 25 watt resistor down in the bottom of there, and this will act as the heat sink for it, to replace that one over there that wasn't replaced, whoever last worked on the amplifier. Okay, so I'll pause the video. Right, so back under the amplifier, some of this, as I said, has been worked on before. Some capacitors have been replaced. Those have been replaced and they're still fine. I've had to add this tag strip here with some more new capacitors on it. This is just my temporary ground lead for the to simulate the jukebox being connected, so I'll get that out of the way. Yeah, so I've had to put some capacitors down there and a new tag strip that needed doing. Sorted out connections on this transformer that had been replaced, so that the heaters worked. Couple of new capacitors over there I replaced just as a precaution, really. Don't want those shorting out. The volume control I had to replace because this was not the correct volume control that came with the machine, so now it's got its correct tapped volume control in there. And that's about it underneath. I've got my bit of paper there just to in the relay, so I'll take that away now. A couple of temporary wires over here as well to simulate the mute system of the jukebox. So yeah, he's all done. He's all ready to go back now. Thanks for watching. Hope you find this one interesting. I made this one a bit longer, especially for the customer, so you can see exactly what's been done to this amplifier, which had been previously been worked on. Okay, thanks a lot for watching.